You while you're on vacation.
Works for me.
And then when she comes back, maybe we'll have 3 this time. We'll see how it works.
Pretty much.
I think I'm going to start this podcast off with, can you tell me what sleep is? Regular sleep? I don't know what that's like anymore this past week.
Sleep is a myth. It's a lie. Just like the cake.
Yeah. Good reference. Did you actually play Portal?
I've seen bits and pieces. I didn't personally play because I've seen other people play, but it's awesome. It looks awesome.
You can get it for so cheap now on pretty much everything.
I have to have time to play it.
Fair enough. I'm trying to think of a way you could play it on the go, too. The best you can get is it on the Switch when it comes out this fall. That was a new announcement, too.
Say that again?
Portal is coming to the Switch this fall.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Now you just need a Switch in the game.
We're working on it.
Okay. Your better route would probably, like if you're looking to buy a new console, I would recommend getting the Switch over the PS5 or the Xbox right now, just because you'd have a lot more fun and it's easier to get, and we can still play together.
Very true. And it's affordable.
That's the biggest thing, yes.
Because I broke.
Well, aren't we all?
Yep.
The console is absolutely affordable. Depending on how you want to do the online stuff is where it starts getting into the weeds.
Why they pay service for Switch again, or now I should say.
Yeah, I know when they were starting to do the stuff they didn't at first, but then once they first rolled it out for like online play for multiplayer and just the online service was like $20 for the year.
Okay.
Which is awesome. They had an additional family plan for like 35 or more, I think, so you could have like anybody that's on the console, or up to 4 profiles on the console could also utilize the Switch service.
Why do I have a feeling we talked about this before? Am I being a goldfish?
We did.
Okay, I'm being a goldfish. I'm very sorry.
You're fine. And then, they brought out the expansion service, which added the N64 and the Sega Genesis shit, along with the NES and the Super NES. Okay. And the prices kept going up and up. So you're almost paying $100 for the family plan for all that shit. So depending on how you want it.
Very true.
Anyway, we're jumping way ahead.
Okay.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. And you yourself, sir?
I'm fucking tired.
I could imagine.
Whatever do you mean?
Hey, at least you're relieved now. You're not in anticipation anymore.
Yes, she's finally here. Now comes the fun part of keeping her alive.
I think you can manage. You manage with the other one just fine.
Man, is that a thin edge that I keep her alive. That kid tries to hurt herself every day.
Oh, Jesus.
She does not know her limitations. She's like, I can do that. Dude, she ran full force from the kitchen to the living room at the couch. And you know how we have that ottoman that sticks out?
Yeah.
She like not Spider-Man, slid across it and almost fell into the wall. Because it was fun. Just, woo!
Yes. Sawyer's not far behind. I think literally yesterday, he realizes he can slide off the bed to try and post with his hands and wanted to try to do a handstand and overwent and smacked into his furniture, and I'm like, he's got a big old bruise on his thigh because of it. I'm like,
well, builds character.
Yeah.
He'll get there one day.
It doesn't seem to bother him now.
Not at all.
He's still doing stupid shit.
Know. She runs into walls, falls all over herself, runs into things. She's like, I'm good. Got a big-ass bruise on her leg and on her back and shit from doing all this stuff, but she's like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Kids, man. We're old. We feel everything.
Yeah.
You sleep wrong, your neck hurts for a week.
Oh, absolutely. But the second you try to treat one of their wounds with, like, alcohol or hydrogen peroxide...
Nothing doing there.
They're not touching... They're not letting you know whenever they hurt themselves anymore.
Yep. Oh, but you...
They'll cry, but
I don't know about Sawyer, but with Amelia, you have to tell her so that way she can take care of it for you. She's like, let me get you the Band-Aid, make sure you clean it off, let me get you the bacitracin and put it on. I'm like, it's just a boo-boo, I can handle it. She's a good helper. And she's a good helper with the new baby. She always wants to get like what we need and help with the diapers and stuff and wants to hold her. So, no complaints. She's a good big sister.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that would be like the biggest worry is they want nothing to do with her.
That was what we worried about at first, but no, she's coming to her own with her. It's awesome. Cannot complain.
Oh, absolutely. Well, good luck to you, brother. Wish you as much rest as you can possibly get.
Thanks. I'm gonna need it. I'm sure it'll get better.
It won't.
But since I've been busy this week, you so graciously put together most of the news. I missed out on some things. I didn't get a chance to read into too many things, so why don't you start me off with what you found out that you're more excited about?
Yeah, not a problem. The first few things that I did happen to read was first one was I thought would be pretty cool for us to talk about was because you and I both watch anime. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this title, My Hero Academia.
What's that?
They're coming out.
I'm kidding. I know what it is.
Oh, I was gonna say. I'm like, really?
I haven't watched it, but I do know what it is. My niece, who is actually up here visiting and waiting, she loves My Hero.
I think you would be into it. It's like I know you're not into like Marvel and stuff like that. I think it's a fresher approach to like the superhero genre, so I think it would be pretty cool to look into it. But they're coming up with their own battle royale game. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they've had anything like that in the past. I haven't played any of them.
They had a 3D arena fighting game, which was like a one-on-one, I think. I don't think. Yeah. Fuck. Now I'm second guessing myself because it's either them or Kill la Kill that I'm confusing it with. But I think it was My Hero. Yes, because it's Deku is the main character, right? Yes. So it was My Hero.
Okay. I'm sure they've had games out. I just not outside of like the Dragon Ball Z series. I've not really tried playing a lot of the anime games because they kind of disappoint me. I don't know what I was.
Naruto's got the most of those.
Yeah, that was my biggest.
You can get there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This one seems cool because the way it sounds like it's supposed to be like a team battle royale. You pick teams of 3 and they battle each other out.
So
you get
my question for you: you say it's a 3-man battle royale game. Is it like a fighting game, or is it literally a battle royale? You're playing a team of fighters and you're fighting against, let's say, 50 other people online. Is it that type of battle royale?
That's what I'm getting from the trailer, because it's not because they're still doing like they're at the stage where they're doing pre-registration for the closed beta. So from what I could find online, granted, I could have probably tried a little bit harder. There's not really much to go on as far as information. But from what it looks like, it's 3-man teams that you play as. You could swap out between the different characters. Yep. And you're facing other people online type of situation. Yep,
it says it touts that players can participate in 24-player multiplayer battle royales with teams of 3. Showed characters such as Katsugi Bakugo, All Might, and Deku, along with villains such as Tamura Shigaraki. Don't know who that is.
Main villain.
They uploaded a trailer. It gives a little more information. This is all based on what you put in for, or on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a straight up battle royale game. That's interesting. Because I feel like they were, I don't know who, and I say they because it's like a blanket thing, but I think there was a superhero battle royale in development, like with Marvel characters, and that fell through. So the fact that they're taking superheroes, but it's from anime and turning it into a battle royale sounds interesting. I wonder how that would work.
Same. That's why I'm interesting, and I know what one you're talking about too, because it wasn't supposed to be you could create the superhero battle royale one was supposed to be you could create your own superhero. Whatever.
I believe so. Yeah.
Because that I was definitely looking forward to. I was very upset about them shutting that down. But I get why. But it looks like a game that I think would be interesting to try out, even if it's disappointing in the end.
At least if you're a fan of the show, it's probably worth it.
Right, exactly. So it'd be a little bit of fun there and try it out for shits and giggles, you know?
Sure. I'd be down to try it. I'll try anything.
Only downside right now is saying that the closed beta's PS4 only.
Which is a little weird.
I don't know.
You think? Because it's last console generation.
True. I'm just wondering if they're only doing, like, for the betas, maybe they're only doing one console at a time.
Could be.
See how it works, and then start adding on as time goes by.
Here's a crazy thought too. Because Sony had bought Crunchyroll, I believe. What if there's something tied to that where they have like first dibs on anime games now?
Maybe. That would make sense.
Especially if like the creators of the show or the developers of that have like a hand in who is creating the game itself, or if like there's some crosstalk with it. It's probably not outside the realm of possibility that they say, yeah, I want it on this system, and it could be a console exclusive or a timed launch exclusive.
Right. No, I would strongly agree with that statement, to be honest. I'm thinking it's going to be like along the lines of Destiny, pretty much, when it first launched. Where it was originally a PS4 exclusive?
Timed. It was limited timed. I think they got access to like the beta. They got an extra strike, a gun that you can only get on PlayStation, and I think there was a couple other things too that was only Sony exclusive.
Right, exactly. Which makes sense. They develop it. They get to do it. They get to make the rules. So.
Well, Sony didn't develop it at first. Bungie was they had teamed up with Activision Blizzard to do that, and I think they struck a deal with Sony saying, "Yeah, we'll put it on your shit first."
Yeah. Okay.
But then there was a whole other thing that went with that. So that sounds cool, especially if you're an anime fan. I'll have to watch the trailer later.
And then along the same anime lines...
One more thing. Speaking of anime battle royales, there's a Japanese exclusive arcade cabinet battle royale game of JoJo. You get to play a character from JoJo's and walk around like Mario from Season 4 and fight other stand users. But it's Japan only. And I'm like, that sounds so lame, but I want to try.
They get all the cool stuff.
Of course. Of course.
Hey, maybe at some point we can take a joint trip and go to Japan.
I'm down. I'd love to see the sights.
Oh, same.
So, one thing I want to bring up too, I saw that you actually pointed out a streamer this time. And it kind of goes along with some of the things that you saw that I saw too about harassment and stuff. But Asmongold I didn't know that he was going to stop streaming Final Fantasy XIV because of his community getting angry because he plays it.
he stopped it. At least from what I read, I'm not familiar with this streamer, but from what I read, he did actually stop it for a while because the harassment and
That sounds familiar.
the how aggressive his viewers are
And just this game alone.
Couldn't take it. Yeah, just this game alone. His other playthroughs and everything like that. The fan base behind those, not a problem.
Right.
Which is weird from what I'm understanding is the Final Fantasy 14 community is usually very open and
Warm and inviting.
Right, exactly.
But it's the people
The
watching.
fact that he's right, and I hate that. That's I don't get it. Why I understand being hardcore, and I understand you love the game to a point that you're gonna develop certain opinions, but at the same time, why are you gonna make somebody else miserable? Stop watching.
Yeah, don't backseat game either. Let somebody play the game their own way.
Right, exactly. The fact that they're letting you be part of it should be enough. If it's not, then go do your own
Right.
thing.
But it's just, it goes along with people having their own opinions and thoughts, and they have to interject it into other people's situations because they think that they know better. Or at least that's how a lot of that shit kind of comes across.
Oh, agreed. And it's things like that, and we'll go into it more with on like other topics because there's a few of them that I brought up.
We can slide right into
that
those
seem
after
to be
this
on
too, because it's along those lines.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with the community, and it's not like
It is the
it's something
ugliest
new.
side of the gaming community at large itself. We have a seedy underbelly that needs to be cleansed hardcore.
Absolutely.
It's gotten to be too ridiculous with just the harassment that many people, devs and game companies face because of whatever reason goes against what people would want or think.
Yeah, and it's not like you can handle the along the lines of prepubescent kids talking smack while you're online.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
But death threats and harassment and sending dick pictures and then following it up with make this change to a game because I sent you this is not the fucking way to do it.
Right, exactly. No, I'm sorry. That's uncalled for.
Absolutely.
Grow the fuck up. Sorry. But I like his. At least in his particular case, I like his approach to it. He straight out said, "Listen, you need to take care of this shit. If you're not going to behave yourself, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to make what I want to make, and that's that."
Asmon giveth, Asmon take it away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Treat them like they want to act like children. Treat them like children. You're gonna act like this. We're gonna take it away from you, and you're not gonna get it back.
Right. Exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Which leads into the next one, where again I'm very proud of the way they handle it. God of War, Ragnarok. Their devs calling out people and falling for respect amid the harassment that their teams
And
getting.
this seems like it's a quarterly thing too. Like if there's just a whiff of a God of War rumor or a leak date or something like this, and I'm gonna place semi-blame on Jason Schreier for this because he first led off with a tweet saying something about a leak date for the thing, but that it might not happen because of whatever other information, and it was pushed. And then he was like, well, I'm not going to delete my tweet because it's changed, and then was complaining about harassment afterwards. But he's the motherfucker who likes to leak a lot of game releases and then complain about people who release who leak information about games to begin with. So I feel like he's part of the problem, and then sits back and is like, well, I'm just reporting on stuff that people tell me. But that's neither here nor there. The God of War shit being a quarterly thing should not be a thing. Like we said already, you should not be harassing the devs, harassing the devs because you don't get the information you want, or it doesn't line up with what you were expecting, or whatever your fucking shitty excuse is.
Right. It's let the final product speak for itself.
Yes.
We're lucky we even get the information that we do.
Yes.
When we were kids, what the hell did we find out? The only information we got was whatever went to Game Informer.
See, yeah.
And the demo discs.
And Nintendo
After that,
Power.
You just play the game when it comes out. Yes.
Can't forget that.
I was a Game Informer fan, so. Well, yeah, it's stuff like that. We got morsels. That was it. The amount of information we actually get now, there should be no bitching.
I agree, but the internet happened, and once you are able to say whatever the hell you want behind an anonymous moniker, then people feel emboldened to say whatever the hell they want with no repercussion. And there needs to be some sort of repercussion for people who do this kind of shit. Because even with this, here's another one. We've got two. Here's number 3, since things come in threes. The Secret of Monkey Island. That game came out years ago, and they announced that they're making a sequel to it finally. They finally showed off a trailer showing gameplay and things that they've updated and what's new in the game. And people bitched at the devs because of the art style. They just pounded on them because they didn't like the way it looked. So the devs are like, well, we're just not going to issue updates on the game now. You'll see it when it's done because of all this. Which, I'm glad they're doing that. They have that in their power. If you're going to be an asshole about something that you don't like in the game, you don't deserve to know about that shit. You don't like it, don't fucking buy it. But don't bitch at people about whatever little problem you might have with something that they are making for you to enjoy.
Right, and I think I want to be careful with how, and I'm agreeing 100%. Trust me, I'm just trying to figure out the right way of saying it, because we're talking about this, but then what pops into my head as we're talking about this is like what happened with the Sonic movie, where like at the same where
do you feel like that made people more emboldened to talk shit to get people to change something because the studio bended?
Yeah. There's goods and bads to that. Where the good part was enough people said, hey, this isn't right, this doesn't look good, and somebody at the studio said, okay, we need to listen to this, and redid it, and it worked out well. And God, that was awesome.
Yes, I agree.
But that's where it worked out well, but that's one time out of, like you said, we came up with 3 other scenarios where this is ridiculous.
So we may have gotten lucky with that working out, but here's my counter to that. What was the cost to do so? How many hours did they have to crunch, nights and weekends, 7 days a week, to pull that out of their ass to make it work and be out in theaters within a couple months since they saw the first trailer? There is a real human cost behind that kind of thing, and I don't think that it's fair to the people creating these things to have to crunch that hard, especially including in game dev. I don't think that there should be crunch in game devs, because if you're planning it out, there should be plenty of wiggle room to be able to do so. And sometimes you run out of funding, sometimes you have to hit a deadline because you've got a contract from somebody. I understand that. But crunch is a problem in the game industry, and plenty of companies have taken steps to fix it, but it's that human cost that allows us to enjoy what we like and make those changes. Right. But there's always a give and take.
That's the downside, and I think it's not so much that portion is never going to change as far as like the crunch and stuff like that. It's always been there. It's always going to be there until the community changes that aspect. But the way the social media is, and the way how the nastiness that people are having, there's a way to show your opinion, approval and disapproval of it, but it doesn't need to go to the levels that they're doing it.
Nope.
To the point that harassment, people need to be asked to stop harassment. I'm sorry, no, that's not right.
Should not be any harassment to begin with.
Right.
And crunch, I feel like, is totally studio based too, because I think on the last podcast I talked to you about Studio MDHR, who put out Cuphead and the Cuphead DLC. When they were working on the DLC, they took 5 years to make it. Yeah, I think I made the same comparison because Amelia was born when the game first came out, and then 5 years later, well, she's almost 5, but 4.5, 5 years later, the DLC came out. That's because they refused to put their team through crunch. They were like, you take your vacations, you don't work weekends, you work the correct hours, you earn all your shit at the normal rate, don't push yourself. And it came out just fine. The DLC came out, I played it, it's great. It was perfect, nothing wrong. You just had to wait a little while, and that's fine. There's plenty of damn games to play in the meantime.
Right, exactly. And it worked out well, like you said. You liked it. It was a polished product. Now it's just a matter of seeing if the payout comes in. If that model works and it's profitable, I hope game companies realize that and look at that and be like, okay, time. I understand they're gonna want to pump out as many games as they want and stuff like that. You're not gonna change the Call of Duties and MLBs and sports games and stuff like that. But it should, at least I'm hoping, in the perfect world, it opens the eyes of these studios to say, hey, okay, we don't need to meet these deadlines. If we have to push it out, we push it out.
Or extend the deadline so that way there is no crunch. But like I mentioned earlier, some of that could be based on who is funding the project too.
Right.
So I'm sure that it's on a case-by-case basis, but there needs to be some sort of change in the industry to make things a little bit easier on the developers, for sure.
Right. And then I think once people are happier, eventually, if it starts becoming more profitable, that type of thing, and then hire on more people, so there's not as much of a crunch as well. So the workload spread out more evenly.
Yep. Yay. So we just blasted through like 3 or 4 different topics that we both put in there. But that's an important topic. I'm glad we got to talk about it. It's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. Because I remembered our conversation before about that type of shit, and I was like, that. At least it's a positive of what we've talked about.
Yes. Well, it's a positive about a negative subject.
True.
I don't see harassment going away, but I'm hoping that people who pull this shit get some sort of actions taken against them to where maybe other people think twice about it. Because it's horseshit at this point.
Right, absolutely. Well, on a later note, remember how we were talking about Monster Rancher last week?
Yes, I love that game.
They're doing a collab with Ultraman.
Now, remind me, is Ultraman like the robot guy with the big old circle eyes and I think it's red and blue body?
Yeah, it's like I've never seen Ultraman, but it's from what the little bits I've seen, it sort of reminds me of like Power Rangers type of thing.
Yeah, super. Fuck. What do they call them in Japan? It's oh no. I was just thinking about this the other day too because I saw a clip from where they brought in all of the seasons of Power Rangers together. And there was like fucking 80 people on screen at once. I'm like, damn, they got a lot of Power Ranger peoples. I want to say it starts with an N, or not an N, an S or a T. It's like Tencent or Saiten. Fuck. I'll think of it. Anyway, tell me about Monster Rancher while I read about it.
Well,
Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher.
Yeah. Supposedly this iteration is going to be instead of us raising the Monster Rancher characters, still the same idea that you can still use CDs to unlock them. Apparently, they have an NFC compatible card unlock version where you can tap the card on your controller.
But it's just through cards? Like you can't use any kind of NFC card?
It said NFC compatible. So now my question is NFC. Are they talking about like the little chips?
Yes, near field communication stuff.
So like for example, I could use like my would probably be a bad idea to do it, but like my debit card or whatever and tap on it.
Yeah, or
And
like
unlock the character.
say you know how you have key cards to get into buildings and stuff. Those usually run off of NFC.
Yeah. Okay. So like after I come back from my from Disney, I can use my room key.
I knew you were going there. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make cards specifically for like a closed system where it's they sell you the cards, you can use them on the game, or if it's any card.
I'm assuming it's going to be any NFC card because it's this along the same lines as the CD.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't make sense to let you use any CD.
And how is that going to work too with CDs? Card. Because half the consoles now don't have a disc drive. Oh wait, never mind. It's coming to the Switch. How the fuck is that going to happen? Yes, if it's coming to the Switch, then you can't do that because the Switch doesn't have a disc port. It's cartridge based.
Oh shit! Yeah. Maybe it'll come with It'll come with a plug-in disc reader.
Do you know how expensive that would make that game?
I don't know what to tell you. I saw the announcement. I got excited, especially since Monster Rancher. And one of the major things that I liked about it is it's not just Japan exclusive. It's actually going to be released regionally.
I'm excited for that at least. But this collab seems a little off the wall.
A little bit, but...
And going back for a second, I found it finally. It's Power Rangers in Japan with Super Sentai. Took me a minute, but I got it.
Okay, I remember... Now you say it, yep, that makes sense. But yeah, at least in this particular case, instead of the regular Monster Rancher characters, you can unlock the Kaiju monsters from the Ultraman series.
Yeah, I was just reading that. It says from... Wait a minute. This involves competing with rival kaiju monsters from the series in activities like races or exploring areas to discover secrets. So does that mean it's open world?
I'm assuming so. From what I saw in the trailer, it was you can do like different little things, like have the kaiju swim and stuff like that to raise its stats.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually fuse them together to make stronger monsters, and you can battle people online. See who has the best one.
Okay.
But I think it's pretty cool.
And I found the part about the NFC technology. It just says the trailer also notes that this game also supports NFC technology where kaijus can be created where a player taps an NFC compatible card to the Switch controller. So from that, basically, to me, it sounds like if your card that you have is NFC capable, just tap it on the Switch and it works. Kind of similar to how Amiibos work.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense, and that would definitely be the workaround to using CDs. Because, like you said, there's no CD disc drive.
Yep.
So. Yeah, but I'm curious.
I'm trying to see.
They're going to implement that.
I'm trying to see if it's only coming to Switch or if it's coming to other ones. Oh, and it's being made by Koei Tecmo. Interesting. Oh yeah, it does right there. Oh, wait. Koei Tecmo reveals a new entry in the Monster Rancher series with an Ultraman Kaiju themed spin as an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. So that is strictly for the Switch only. Those games do come out for the other systems from reading that basically. And those systems do have disc drives. So, those will work for the CDs.
Okay.
Well, at least the Xbox Series X, which I have, has a disc drive on it. The Xbox Series S does not.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, so talk about fucking confusing.
Yeah. Oh, no. I thought you were...
No, that's it. Just confusing. Like, you want the game and you want to do the CDs, but you only have a Xbox Series S or like a PS5 without the disc drive. Kind of SOL there.
Yeah. Pretty much. They'll figure something out, but it's like we said, it's those little gimmicks that Make things interesting.
Yeah. That's not gonna make me go out and buy it for the Switch just because of the Ultraman shit, but Monster Rancher itself is fun, so I will give it a shot.
Let me know then. Happen to get it, I'll try it myself.
You gonna try and win that Thor's Hammer Xbox?
I'm going to try.
You're actually gonna put in for it?
Because it looks... Yeah, why not? It's free and it looks cool.
Sure. Why don't you describe it? What does it look like?
It actually looks like the Thor's hammer. It's not exactly like the one in the Marvel movies, but it's Thor's hammer and it has a cracked design on the casing. But it looks
So
pretty
from
cool.
your notes, it says it's a promo for the movie Love and Thunder. Is it designed from Lady Thor's hammer?
It's a very loose interpretation.
Okay.
If you want to see it, I believe they have a picture of it if you click on the link.
Yes, boss.
But, yeah. Well, I like it. It's cool. It'd be worth trying, especially if I'm not paying for anything. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. It just looks like a stone brick with a handle and cracks in it. Besides, like, the designs on the top and the bottom and saying lore? Jesus Christ. Thor, Love, and Thunder. But the picture makes it look like just a cement rectangle with cracks in it and a hammer, or a handle on it. No offense. It'd be cool if you got it still.
Well, like I said, it's a very loose interpretation.
Gotta get them exclusive consoles out there.
It's worth a shot. But notice how it doesn't show any pictures of what the controller's gonna look like.
Good point. I wonder if they're just going to make them regular black controllers? Oh, they could make them like Thor's outfit colors too. Like make the front that darkish bluish black color, and then the back make it look like the red of his cape.
Yeah, I think that would actually be pretty cool.
That could work.
If they do, especially if they do two controllers, I doubt that they're going to do two, but if they do, have one theme, now that you mention it, one with Thor's color scheme and one with Lady Thor's color scheme.
I might be dumb here, but are their outfits not the same colors?
Not for this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, because at least in this movie from the trailer, it looks like Thor's outfit's gonna be like a dark blue with gold accents, where hers is more derivative from his earlier costume.
Fair enough. Sorry, I keep yawning over here. I'm tired.
I do not blame you, brother.
All right. Oh, did you happen to watch any of the Summer Games Done Quick marathons over the week?
I did not. No, I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's not a big deal. I think I told you about it last week when we recorded, or before. Maybe the speedrunning stuff.
Yes, you did mention it.
Yep. So it ended. It started last Sunday and it ended today because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Sunday to Sunday. They ended up raising $3,016,817 for Doctors Without Borders.
Whew, good for
Yeah,
them.
within the first
Holy
couple
crap.
days, they hit 1 million easily, and it just kept growing from there, like always.
And you notice how it's like the YouTube and the gaming community, especially the gaming
Us
community.
nerds, man.
That's it. Yeah, we have no problem to raising money for charity.
You need help, we're always there. We find a way to make shit work. I mean, there's plenty of gaming communities and Twitch streamers and stuff that are always raising money for like St. Jude and other children's hospitals and cancer research and everything. It's great.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the side of the other side of the coin that what we were talking about earlier. We have the nastiness, but we also have this part of the community that is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I wish we would see more of that versus, at least news-wise, versus the other stuff, you know?
Or at least more often, because you definitely see more people talking
Right.
shit more than you do about some of the good stuff. But like in
Right,
any
exactly.
family, you have people that you don't like to discuss. And we don't talk about those.
Yeah. You'll see, like, in the news, they'll talk, we'll see idiots like Ted Cruz blaming gun violence due to video games, but nobody talks about what you just talked about. Gamers just raised $3 million doing what they love.
He also was ranting and raving and bitching about Elmo, not a real person, a fucking Muppet, getting a COVID vaccine so that kids were okay with the idea of getting it themselves. He was whining about that shit. I'm like, don't you have something better to do?
Yeah, he's a Muppet himself. Fuck that asshole.
Don't give Muppets a bad name. I love the Muppets.
Fine, he's just a guy. He's just an asshole with the Cheetos hand up his ass. Okay.
You, gross. I don't want any of that.
But, well, on the topic of
Assholes? Cheeto fingers?
oh no. No, on the topic of charity video gamers and stuff like that. I'm sad. No techno. Poor guy.
Yeah. Admittedly, I didn't know anything about him, but once I started seeing news pop up about him and a lot of different outlets talking about him passing away and stuff, I'm like, I gotta look into this dude. So I guess he was a big... I guess apparently you know more about him. But he was a big Minecraft player.
Oh, absolutely. I started watching him a lot more mainly because of like when you're, you know how when you were watching the video streams on Facebook, you can flip through the videos. His started popping up a lot more.
To be honest with you, I don't watch shit on Facebook. If I'm watching a stream, it's usually on Twitch and sometimes on YouTube. So I don't know anything about Facebook stuff.
Well, that's how I got introduced to him, was through the Facebook videos. I'll be flipping through and I'll start watching his stuff, and then it started suggesting him more and more and more. And
as the algorithm does.
Oh, absolutely. And he was seemed like a pretty fun type of guy from my basic understanding of what he did. He was going to college, and then he realized, hey, I'm actually doing well on this and making some money. I'm gonna drop out of college. And
damn, I didn't know he dropped out of college.
I want to say that. If I'm wrong, please somebody correct me. But I believe that's what he did, and he actually played with. From a bunch of the videos I saw, he played with like the Mr. Beast crew and all.
Oh
them.
shit! Really?
He was actually featured in one of the videos.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the people I see a lot was on, at least playing on the same videos, is Carl from Mr. Beast's people.
I admittedly don't know any of their names. I just know of him and what he does.
Yeah. But yeah, he does a lot. He does a lot of charity stuff too, as we talked about, and he's just a fun type of guy. It's one of those. It's the way he does his videos. It's stupid, but it's funny. It's stupid funny, and it's just fun. I like those type of videos. He's not really. He wasn't really being like serious type of thing, not full of himself, and that's the type of content I like, to be honest. And it's a shame to hear that. He's a pretty cool guy. I'm happy that for the news you gave me, with the donations.
What kills me about him is that he's 23 years old due to cancer.
Yeah. I didn't even know he had cancer.
I mean, I didn't know either, of course, because I didn't know about him, but it's sad. He's so young.
Oh, absolutely. I as soon as I said it, I mentioned it out loud. I'm like, oh no, and Callie's like, what? And I was like, you know, one of the video guys that I watch, Techno. I was like, yeah, I heard about that.
She heard about it.
He's only 23.
Wow.
Yeah. So apparently one of the people she watches on TikTok watches his stuff, but the fact that when I told her he's 23, he's still a kid. Not like we're much older than him, but still, you know.
Yeah, and I guess the High Team and High Pixel creators were donating $50,000 to the same foundation that he was fundraising for a while, which was the, I'm gonna have to fucking pull it up again. It was the Sarcoma Foundation of America. No, that doesn't sound right. Let me grab it again, so I don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no, I still had it up. Thank you. He was raising money for the, I had it right, Sarcoma Foundation of America, and he raised about $340,000 alone with him and his community. So they were adding another $50,000 to that in his memory.
Like I said, that is absolutely freaking phenomenal. That's a lot of money. You wouldn't expect them to do that. That's good. That goes to show that people pay attention.
He had a big impact.
Oh, absolutely.
Sad.
Rest in peace. Yeah. Rest in peace, buddy. Glad you're no longer in pain.
It's just like Chadwick Boseman. Didn't say a word, quietly passed away from cancer, and everybody's like, well, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But he was a good dude, too, apparently.
Threw me for a loop. And he knew about it. And it's like, you wouldn't... What's funny is I don't know if it's just happened to work out that way, but like people after the news came out and he passed away and stuff like that, people actually looked at old interviews and would say, hey, when they were talking about the future of the franchise and stuff like that, some of his answers were kind of forbearing. Like, oh shit,
wow,
like that makes sense now.
Damn. It's a hell of a thing to go back and pick out and be like, oh yeah, damn. Didn't catch the signs until now.
Not to mention the fact that like when you hear the stories about how, and not to drag that particular section off, but like the stories you hear about what he had to go through during like the Civil War movie, because the suit wasn't breathable at all. The poor bastard was sweating like crazy in that suit. And I could be wrong, but he had the cancer during the filming of that movie as well. So to know he's been dealing with that and still push and dealt with that type of suit and R.I.P. buddy.
Nuts. Oh, so coming back around to games. Part of what I found was also something that you had mentioned. It's not the same, but they're like two sides of the same coin kind of deal. Blizzard confirmed that they are acquiring or had acquired Proletariat.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of them before?
I've never heard of them before.
So I was looking for video game companies around here or in Boston just to see who was left. And they came up on that list, and I found that they make a lot of games that you usually play like in browser, or it might get distributed through like small platforms that people don't really pay attention to. So the fact that Blizzard acquired them was a surprise. I'm like, oh shit, I wonder what they're gonna do with them.
Apparently, it's to solidify their WoW community, I guess. Basically, they're saying they are going to be working specifically on WoW going forward to help meet demand for the new content. Supposedly, they're planning on hiring hundreds of more developers over the next couple of years to help with that as well.
But from your list, it says that they had to cancel one of their games called Project Spellbreak because of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is a shame, because by the sounds of it, people were looking forward to it. But...
I had heard that name kicked around for a while.
I don't know. Is it a new game? But from where I was looking it up, it sounded like this is a game that was already previously released.
It might have been in early access, if that's the case. Which means it was incomplete but playable.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's stuff like that kind of. I get it. They have their priorities and stuff like that. But to outright cancel a game this far and not let them finish the project, I think it kind of slap in the face type of thing. You bought the company.
I love that you said that, because you're going to feel the exact same way about something, if you didn't see it yet, what I put on the list. Since Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes went well, they were going to do 3 and 4. Blizzard had bought Vicarious Visions, and they scrapped the entire thing.
No.
Yeah.
You bastards.
After they merged with them, they're like, well, no more 3 and 4 now. I guess Tony Hawk revealed that in an interview a little while ago.
All right. I'm sorry. It seems to be a recurring segment on our show at this point. It's fuck Blizzard.
It's more fuck Blizzard's old, well, fuck Bobby Kotick because he was running Blizzard and all the shitbag people who were making decisions there. The good guys ended up leaving because they couldn't stand the crap, and then the other people who were trying to right the ship stuck around and then got shit on for it because of upper management.
Yeah.
So fuck all the old management, bring in some new people who know what they're doing.
What doesn't get me is, especially with the proletariat buyout, it's one of the key things that they said was the CEO supposedly said they had a kind and open and transparent conversation about all the issues going on at Blizzard prior to agreeing to the buyout. What the hell kind of... What?
How much money had to grease their hands to say, okay, it's cool.
Right, exactly. That you're gonna look the other way and let them shut down a project you guys have been working on.
Yeah, it just seems like a weird decision to make. Like, yeah, I'll tell you about all the stuff that's going on and what's happening with our company and what we're going through right now, but I'll give you a couple $100,000 for your company too. Depending on the leadership, I would be probably looking for the door at that point. I wouldn't go through with something like that with all the shit that they're facing right now.
Oh, agreed. There's no... I don't see how that conversation could have actually ended well. That didn't involve what you were talking about, money. I could be wrong. And don't sue me. I appreciate it. But
I wonder when that deal went on too. Like, how long ago did it? I wonder how long ago that deal went on. Like, if they just made it recently and they managed to punch it through, or if it's been in the works for a while and they were okay with it. Because if it was more recently, Proletariat could have been thinking about the Xbox side of that, since Xbox is about to own Activision Blizzard once the government says, yeah, sure, go for it.
Right.
So it might be like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of deal. I don't know.
Above our pay grades.
We just talk about it. We don't do it.
Yeah. Again, fuck Blizzard.
Fuck Bobby Kotick. So we don't have any Kingdom Hearts stories this week for you to mention? How's that mobile game you're playing?
Not bad. I'm starting to get a little bored. But
oh no, they're losing you.
It's the same. It's the same as, like, it's a mobile game. It's gonna be repetitive in nature. I do like some of the quality of life stuff that they've introduced. Because, like, a lot of because they release a new character that you can get for free and build up for that month. Mm-hmm. The new feature that they brought in is the characters that they've had in the past month. You can try in the previous months. You can try and farm a type of crystal currency to buy the character, buy their weapons, upgrade their skills, and upgrade the weapon level. So it's not like it's, oh, you didn't play during this time period. Like, for example, when I started, they were already a few months in, so there were cool characters that I wish I could have gotten. But at that time, that feature wasn't available, so I was like, oh, shit, so I'm shit out of luck. Now you can have them.
Well, that's cool.
So I think that's a nice features and stuff like that. Ooh, actually, update. I was able to finally get on Diablo Immortal.
Oh, really?
Didn't play very long, but it looks cool. It did remind me of Diablo 2 as far as style wise. Okay. My issue is, especially since it's one of those, you use your left hand to move the character, you use the right to tap on stuff. Because of how small my screen is, I think the game itself would probably be better on like a Pro. I'm just using iPhone as an example, like a Pro Max or a tablet
something a little bit bigger.
Play. Right, exactly. That's my only gripe with it, because it makes it very hard for me to, especially with my sausage-ass fingers, to tap on loot that enemies have dropped. But it's pretty easy to play.
Okay.
So I wouldn't mind giving it a little bit longer when I have a chance.
Did you feel like the loot box mechanics were intrusive, or did it affect the gameplay at all?
I haven't gotten to that portion yet.
Okay.
I literally just was finally able to start the game, go through like the basic stuff. I finally got to the town, so I'll let you know.
Okay, I await the update.
How it comes out.
Speaking of updates, Ubisoft shutting down several online services for some older games. I heard rumblings about that before, but now we got some actual information about it, and you seem to know more about it than I do now.
Yeah, actually. It's basically, at least from my understanding from what I read, it's due to the PS3 and Xbox 360 no longer being supported, so they're just gonna be shutting off the online servers for it.
That makes sense.
So you won't be able to play multiplayer. You can't link your account anymore in game, or won't be able to. You can still do it up until what was the date?
9/1/22.
Yes. Or use the online features. The thing that really sucks and what is pissing people off, but at the same time, we've talked about this in the past. It's not. If something's that old, it's understandable they're gonna not put the funding towards it anymore.
This sounds like a normal transition period of cutting off older services to make way for the newer stuff.
Right, exactly.
Basically, when they shut off all the old Xbox servers with Halo and stuff like that to switch it all over to the Xbox 360 stuff.
Right, exactly. It's they're going to use the resources for something new.
Yeah, makes sense.
You'll no longer have access to or install any of the DLC you previously purchased. It doesn't affect remasters. It's just original releases.
See, and that's where I understand people having problems with things, because they bought the game, they want to play it, they won't be able to, and say they need to re-download for it. They need to re-download it for any reason, they won't be able to.
Right. Which it's a shame, but at the same time, it's at least I have no idea how far down the line Xbox 360 is now, but for the PS3, it's 2 generations back.
Same as Xbox. They're
okay.
both basically same, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't tell you the Xbox's naming scheme confused the living shit out of me.
It got confusing after the 360. You had the Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, all those fucking X's and Series and S's and stuff. It's a mess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get it. They're old consoles. As much as I would, and I'd probably be one of those people that are gonna bitch because there are a couple of games that I own, or did anyways. I gave them to my brother. That are on that list, like Assassin's Creed 3.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it when it first came out, so I won't have access to any of that stuff.
Well, at least not the online portion, but you can still play the single player.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The fact that I can't access any.
Sorry, you finish
What?
your thought. Speaking of single player.
I was no, it just sucks. I won't be able to access any of the DLC that came with the pre-order. But again,
Yeah.
I bought it when it first came out in 2012. 10 years ago. I'm okay with
Fuck,
that.
2012 was 10 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Making me feel old, man. Speaking of single player, you don't have Twitter, right?
Yes, sir. I do not.
So I don't know if you've heard of this trend that was going around, but people were, well, I shouldn't say trend, I should say meme, where the tweet would start off, they, he, she, or whatever is a 10, but, and then you just add something silly or whatever that would go with it to the end of that. EA, their own Twitter tweeted out, they're a 10, but they only play single player games. And they got roasted hard for talking shit about single player games. Everyone jumped on them. Like, devs weren't more piling onto them. It was more actual gamers and stuff were piling onto EA. But devs were more like supporting single player games and like hyping them up and saying single player games are what we built the backbone of the gaming industry on and stuff like that. And it's just like, how can you be so fucking tone deaf, especially when they're the ones who put out Jedi Fallen Order, a fantastic single player Star Wars game that made them a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
How quickly we forget. Jeez. I was just like, wow. How did that get approved to be put out?
This is EA.
Yes. Which they've made a great many missteps for many, many reasons. But just like, wow. It was just so surprising to see that. Because I missed the tweet at first, too. I saw people tweeting about it, and I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? What'd they say? And I had to go hunting around for it, and I finally read it, I'm like, oh no, you screwed up. You poked the bear, and the bear's mad.
You're done fucked up.
But at least in their defense, they did tweet out later on. They were like, yep, we screwed up. We'll take the L on this one. Sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a choice.
Nope. Okay, one last thing, because I know I got to get down there and help with the baby.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't even pay attention at the time. I apologize.
Last thing, because there's some other things, like, go watch the indie showcase, or the Nintendo partner showcase. There's a handful of games that are coming out of there. One of the ones that were noteworthy was that they're making another Mario vs. Rabbids game, which, in this one, you can actually switch out Mario from being your main character, so now you can have a party of anybody you want.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and those games are apparently excellent. If you like XCOM and top-down, turn-based strategy games, there's the word, you'll like that. Because that's exactly what it is. But it's Mario and Rayman's Rabbids. But they're fun games. They're cool.
Okay. I'll have to give it a shot.
I don't know when it's coming out, but it will be soon.
And in the meantime, I will be working on a way to get a Switch.
Good luck with that. Well, I don't know why I say that. It's easy. But definitely get the one with the, in my opinion, get the one with the base. Don't get just the console. Because the console you cannot put on the screen. You can just take it as a travel device. With the one with the base, you can actually put it on the thing to put it on the screen and then have a controller and sit on the couch to play it. Or take it off and play with that.
Yeah. You're talking about don't get the light, get the
Correct.
Other one. Oh, yeah, no. Not a chance in hell am I getting the light.
Good
Sorry.
man.
No.
Just making sure.
Oh, man.